Welcome back to another episode of the Man to Man Pod. I'm on half of the pod, Darius Butler. My co-host AB, Antoine Bethea, is out today, so I'll be flying solo. Gonna have a cameo from our guy behind the scenes, our producer who makes it all happen. Tone is gonna come in a little bit later. We got a lot to talk about. Since I've been retired, May used to be one of the shittiest months for sports for me, honestly. But now that huge hockey guy now, huge golf guy, huge F1 guy, this May has been electric. So we got a lot to talk about. NFL starting OTAs. A lot of 20 teams, I believe, are starting OTAs today. NHL playoffs are off to this is the conference finals. The conference finals are off to an incredible start. NBA finals. I mean, for all those out there who thinks the NBA is scripted and you know which teams are going to be in and all that, bad year for you guys. Got two teams facing 3-0 deficits right now in their respective conferences. I mentioned WNBA being back. You got stars already showing up and showing out. We got a lot to talk about today. Obviously going to do a couple flashbacks and see some predictions when it comes to this NBA playoffs. I'm sad. I'm hurt that AB's not going to be here today, so I can't, rub it in his face, pause. But it's still going to be a great show. I appreciate y'all. If you got any questions, any comments, any concerns, especially with me flying dolo today, I would love to answer some good questions. Hit us in the comment box here, the live chat. Hit us on Twitter using hashtag M2MLive. Tone will throw a couple of them in here for me to answer. What else we got to talk about today? Got to honor a legend. NFL community lost a legend over the last couple of days. Another legend retired from the NBA just probably about 10 minutes ago. He announced it. Man, we got a lot to talk about, so we'll hurry and get to the other side of this. Obviously, the Man to Man Pod is presented by FanDuel Sportsbook, the best sports book in the world. My parlay, I had the same game parlay last night. Of course, it didn't hit because the game was over in the third quarter. Up 30 on these bums. On these bums that they gave a 97% chance, these bum-ass analytics, to beat us in the finals. They down 3-0. So, yeah, my same game parlay had no chance of hitting last night because all the starters were out resting. We had some chance to come in. But once again, drop some stuff in the comment box. Let's see if we guys going to be a fun show today. And as always, I'm still not over this new intro yet. But we'll see you on the other side.
Man to man, yeah, we talking. Man to man, they can't guard me. Man to man, they don't want to see us. Man to man, they don't know how to beat us. Man to man. That's in me, that's why I want it so bad. Must be the hustler in me that keep my foot on the gas. When you got it from nothing, then hard times ain't so bad. Just know I'm coming for everything that they said I couldn't have. I put my life inside it, yeah, I kept it solid. Yeah, I played the field, that's how I feel about it. We put numbers on the board, we always up the score. Yeah, we stuck to the plan and never ran. Now they can't see it, man. Yeah, we talking, man to man. They can't guard me, man to man. They don't wanna see us, man to man. They don't know how to beat us, man to man. 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 Man to man.
Yeah, let's get it, man. So first and foremost, we're gonna start out with a little bit of football. Obviously, it's May, so it's not a ton of football news. But the OTAs did start today. But before we get to the OTAs, Jim Brown lost a legend, an absolute titan when it comes to NFL football. 9 seasons in the NFL before he retired to do a bunch of other things, including acting and a lot of social justice work in the community. Shout out to Jim Brown, the only non-quarterback to win the MVP 3 times. And what's crazy is in football, what's crazy is in his athletic career, football is probably not the best sport in his bag. He was an unbelievable lacrosse player during his days. But here's his rundown of his stats: 3-time MVP, 1964 NFL champion, a 9-time Pro Bowler, 8-time first team All-Pro, which is the most for the running back position. Pro Football Hall of Famer class of 1971, the NFL 100 all-time team. I had the chance to meet Jim Brown a couple times. I know Super Bowl in Minnesota was the first time I met him, I believe. But shout out to Jim Brown. Incredible career. Great guy, man. Once again, 20 teams today start OTAs. And I saw a question in the chat. Let me see if I can find it. Tony, if you get to it before me. Someone asked a question about OTAs and what's the most important part of them. Oh, what am I drinking today? Icelandic glacial, 8.4 pH. Hey, some quality water. Hey, hit my line. It's first and last free ad y'all get. Some quality H2O. But here we go. G.I. Joe 317. One of the day ones following the pod. What is the most important part of OTAs? Is it conditioning or knowing your playbook and alignment base? So great question, first and foremost. And I would be interested to hear AB's answer because I'm sure the answers probably vary on this one. But to me, the most important part of OTAs for me was getting acclimated. You always, every year you have a different team, regardless if you're adding 2 new starters or 1 new starters or backups or a new coach, a new coordinator, new system, new verbiage, whatever it is, you got new people in there doing a different job. So for OTAs, I think the most value is being able to communicate and go through these mental and physical reps with your teammates, with the people you're going to be out there with. Even though you don't have pass on, you're not hitting, you can still get your run fits, you can still get your calls, your communication, and you're actually competing against a live offense on the other side. So I think it's very, very valuable. Obviously, the more reps, the more downs you play in the league, the less you necessarily need OTAs for yourself. But when you're working with other teammates, when you're listening to other coaches, sometimes you see how coaches go about, their 2-minute calls, or when the offense is backed up, or our 4-minute calls, our red zone calls, whatever, third down, all these different calls. This is when you first start to get acclimated. Now, when the season comes, after training camp, every week it's a little different, right? Depending on the opponent that you're going to play. It's a little different. The details are a little more intricate based on your opponent. But right now you're putting in your base stuff. You're putting in your base, your simple, your vanilla stuff. But you need to be out there communicating. And I wasn't a guy who went to every OTA as I got older, especially if I was playing the same system. But I would definitely show up to probably like the first week, maybe the first 2 weeks. It's different now. The schedule's different. But if it was 4 weeks OTAs, I would want to be at least 2 of them. And when I was playing as I got older, my family was at home in Florida. So I would, once again, show face, do my thing, coaches, players, then maybe miss a week, maybe come back, do another week, and then be out for the last. But it's very valuable. Not so much conditioning. Now for me, I honestly got better physical work and conditioning work at home down here in South Florida working out. But once again, it's about being around your teammates. It's about being in those meetings, getting those walkthrough reps, getting those on-field reps with your teammates. And then you get a big break between that. Then you come back from mini camp, get another break, and then you show up to training camp. And then training camp is obviously where you really build that, that camaraderie with your teammates for those 2 or 3 weeks that you're in there preparing for the preseason in the season. So, but OTAs definitely have their play their role of importance, especially when you got a new coach, when you got new coaches. It's the first time you're really getting in front of teams, running and operating practices, so you kind of get a feel on how things are going to go. So OTA start for 20 teams, a lot of new quarterbacks, a lot of new coaches, new coordinators. So it should be fun. Some storylines, especially in May when it comes to, the NFL season. Once again, not much NFL news right now, but that's some for sure. And Tone, why don't you jump in here because I want to talk a little WNBA. WNBA has made its return. We've had some stars already show up and show out. Tone, what's good? It's the guy, the man. You guys don't see his face a ton, but this is the man behind the scenes who makes it all happen. What's up, Tone, man? How was your weekend?
It was good. It was good. We had WNBA action. Got to watch quite a few games. Got the WNBA League Pass. Have had that forever.
Okay.
That's like the best price thing ever. I think it's like $24
every game.
Yeah, every game. That's not on like ESPN or ABC or whatever. But comparatively to every other league, I mean it's a steal. I mean, obviously they're still working. They got some glitches in their app, but for the most part, it's a pretty solid app.
That's technology. Everybody has a little glitch. We saw Instagram went down yesterday for a little bit. Obviously, that's a huge YouTube TV went down. What was that? The Miami-Boston game?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe game 2, I believe, maybe the last few minutes, which was a great game, I think, too. So technology is going technology. I'm sure we'll be dealing with a lot more with AI taking over everything. There'll be AI Tone, AI man-to-man pod pretty soon. But let's get to the W, man. Obviously, some stars showed up. My UConn girls, Stewie, she showed up and showed out with her new team, New York Liberty. AO showed out. Brittany Griner had a huge return to Phoenix on her return. What stood out from this weekend in the W?
Oh, the big storyline obviously going into the season was super teams. You had New York, you have Vegas. New York came out super flat the first game, didn't look great. They lost to Connecticut, I believe. Connecticut it was, I think, in the first game. Or no, they lost to the Mystics in the first game. Sorry about that. And then and they looked a little flat. So then coming into the second game, home opener in New York, it was like, do they gel? Do they? And then Stewie just, erupted. 45 points in just 3 quarters, 6 3-pointers. Absurd stat line. 45 points, career high and franchise high. Also, it's the, I believe, 8th all-time highest scoring WNBA single game.
UConn GOAT.
12 rebounds. 15 for 21 is good for anybody. 6 3-pointers, all in one, debut. And there you go. That's my go right there, my amor.
Mine as well. My oldest namesake.
40 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 3-pointers in this same game. Only 2 people have done it. It must be a UConn thing.
Yeah, you're damn right. Shout out to Maya Moore. Had a bunch of battles with her in the offseason out there at Gamble Pavilion up in Storrs, Connecticut.
I know she put it on you because she's.
So
magic.
Funny story. She was they definitely put it on us at times. But she was when I would go up and dunk or whatever, the girls usually get out the way, like I hear go D-Butt trying to show off, whatever. I remember the first off season she showed up on campus, and I go up to dunk, and she just went straight up. But I said, "Oh shit, okay, she a little different." But the one thing about every great player that came through UConn is not only whether it's Maya Moore, whether it's Renee Montgomery, whether it was Stewart, whoever it was, not only were they the best player and the most talented player, but they played the hardest. Every night, every practice, every offseason when Gino wasn't there, they always led that charge in that regard. So I'm sure that plays a huge role in why they are so great and have been so great for such a long time. But we had another big star return. Obviously, she's been in the headlines for a long, long time for everything that was going on in Russia. Got caught, with some stuff in her luggage, was locked up. It was crazy. Everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people was rooting for her return. She made her home return last night and had a big night as well with 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks. How did that game go if you were able to check it out?
Yeah, so unfortunately for the Mercury, they lost, but you know, they're 0-2. They look a lot better than they did last year without Brittany. Obviously they're down Skylar Diggins right now. She's out on maternity leave. Diana Taurasi looks good still to start the season. I think season 19, I think she's in now.
Crazy.
So but yeah, then they got a couple injuries, but I think once, you know, a couple of those ancillary pieces come back from injury, they'll be real good. I mean, she looks like she's never left. I mean, just perfect form. I don't know. Have you seen her shoot? Like,
I saw her hit a 3. I saw her hit a 3 last night. Say I'm back.
It's like perfect form. Sometimes it looks robotic almost, but at 6'9", just for her to be, you know, hitting shots like from every area, and 4 blocks every single game so far. So she had 4 blocks first game, 4 blocks second game. She's a defensive presence that they missed last year. So I think overall, I think Mercury definitely going to make the playoffs this year, which they missed last year. And then I think they'll do good at once they get, you know, some Sophie Cunningham. She stretches the floor for threes and stuff like that. So there'll be a better situation for everybody on that team.
All right.
Also, they have a young lady, Turner, who played center last year in Brittany Griner's absence, and she's had to move to the power forward spot. So I think she is still trying to figure out that spot in watching the game. So I think once she figures that out, they'll be better for it.
Gotcha. Before we let you get out of here, I know you got a roll. Finals predictions. I know we got some super teams here. Aces, Liberty. I learned today. I was today years old. And I learned the WNBA doesn't do East and West in the playoff because you know, obviously it's only 12 teams, I believe. But who's going to the finals? Who's going to be our finals matchup this year, according to Tone and WNBA?
So as of last year, they stopped giving away the bye for the first round for the top 2 seeds. Actually, in the past, it's been all the way to the semifinals. So the top 2 seeds would go all the way to the semifinals. So you'd have almost like a play-in situation between the 5-8 and 6-7. They'd play the 3-4, and then they reseed almost like the NFL. And then, you know, they'd go to the finals or whatever. But this past year, they did it where one plays 8 all the way through. So I think that changes it a little bit because depending on where a team like the Mercury falls, like if they go the 5 seed and they play a 4 team, you know, they could go fairly deep and take a team out. But if I had to guess, betting my money right now, I would say I got the Washington Mystics against the Las Vegas Aces in the finals.
There we go. Mystics, Aces, finals according to Tone. That's prediction. Go ahead to FanDuel Sportsbook and put some money on it, man. Appreciate you, Tone, as always, everything you do.
Definitely.
And been our WNBA insider.
For sure. And if you haven't checked out, I'm also a WNBA spokesperson for some reason. I just love the sport. But if you haven't checked it out, give it a chance. The absolute talent that's in the WNBA.
It is
ridiculous. And it's only going to get better next year when Caitlin Clark, Haley Van Lith, all of the Angel Reese, all of them pop in there. So get in now while you can. It's going to be hot.
For sure, man. Appreciate you, Tom.
All right.
Yes, sir. And before we move on to our next topic, let me go ahead and knock this FanDuel readout for FanDuel Sportsbook. Once again, our presenting sponsor, the NFL playoffs are here. And you can turn crossovers into cash with FanDuel. Just visit FanDuel.com/M2M Live right now. Receive a no sweat first bet up to $1,000. There's no better place to bet all of the playoff action than America's #1 sports book. Just go to FanDuel.com/M2M Live and sign up to get a no sweat first bet up to $1,000. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Speaking of FanDuel, due to my love and affinity for F1, FanDuel made me up this dope ass hey, yo. F1 Grand Prix, where we at next week, baby? Let me see where we at, man. Let me see where we at, good. Let me see where we at, good. Monaco, we in Monaco, man. Shout out to, I don't know if y'all can hear me well or not. Shout out to FanDuel for sending me that. We are in Monaco. The Imola Italian Grand Prix had to be postponed due to the rain, the weather out there. So prayers up for that whole region out there. Super messed up what happened out there. We'll have the race week back in Monaco. So race week is back. It's the first action since the Miami Grand Prix. You know who's in the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, Fernando Alonso. Those are the top three. But we got some big upgrades coming from Mercedes, coming from Ferrari. I may even at some point start a little quick 15-minute F1 podcast. Tony been trying to get me on it. Definitely gonna tap into that, man. I had a really good time at the Grand Prix in Miami. Made a lot of connections. So yeah, I'm gonna be out there, man. But let's get to these NBA playoffs. Woo! You know I gotta start with my Heat. But before I get to my Heat, let's go back to some predictions. A little flashback in time. Where's AB going in this one and how many games? I need to hear a prediction right now.
I'm going Boston in 6, 4-2. They have home court advantage. It's going to be a tough matchup. Miami Heat, they're going to come out. They're going to be ready to ball. Coach Boston, we spoke with him earlier in the show. He's going to have his team ready to play. I think Boston might be the deepest team in the playoffs right now. So I'm going with Boston in 6.
We've had amazing postseason battles, but you know I'm going my hometown Heat. I think we're going to seek a little revenge from last year. Oh, who Jimmy Butler is. We know how he's wired, how that team goes around him. Give me my Heat in 6. Heat in 6. I guess I was being too kind. I was being too nice. Obviously, AB went with the Celtics, who were a lot of people's favorite, including the nerds and the numbers, with the analytics giving them a 97% chance to win this series. I believe after the first game, maybe after the first 2 games, going to game 3, I don't even know what the numbers were, but I think we may have got up to like 30-something%. Maybe we up to 50% now that we up 3-0, but it's over with. It's over with. I knew they wouldn't come down to Miami. They damn sure wasn't going to win that game 1. Slight chance they show up in game 4 and maybe make it close, make it a battle. But obviously I'm feeling the sweep. At worst is Heat in 5, and we close it out on their home court in Boston. But yeah, the Heat, I mean, just unbelievably coached. Coach Spo, top 5 all-time playoff wins already in his young career. Great team, great culture. And speaking of the culture, I saw a tweet last night, which was unbelievable. Pat Riley, who's the president of basketball operations down in Miami, has been for a while. The Godfather, as we refer to him down here. Check this out. Pat Riley, it's a tweet from David Aldridge. Pat Riley is 1 win away from his 19th appearance in the NBA Finals as a player, coach, or executive. 19. That would mean Riley has either played, coached, or been the team's top decision maker in 24.7% of all of the NBA Finals in NBA history. I mean, that is unbelievable. So shout out to Pat Riley. Setting that culture, that real Heat culture down here in Miami, man. That's unbelievable. The games, I mean, if you've been watching the games, you know it hasn't been all Jimmy. It hasn't been all Hemi Butler. It's been the squad. It's been shout out to Grant Williams for lighting a fire under Jimmy as well. But Strus, Martin, Duncan Robinson, everybody's been handling business. I don't think anybody had the Heat being 3-0 up on the Celtics right now. But I'm excited about it. The Eastern Conference odds, as of right now on FanDuel Sportsbook, to win it all, minus 1,300 for the Heat, plus 800 for the Celtics. Damn, I wish we had the flashback of checking out those odds. I believe coming into these conference finals, I know the Heat were the longest shot. I want to say plus 1,400 if I remember correctly. But shout out to my Heat, man. Hey, They're making us proud down here. We are absolutely buzzing down here. On the other side, the Western Conference, Denver also going for the sweep over the Los Angeles Lakers. And my guy, my partner in crime, my co-host, let's just go back to prediction in this one.
I got the Lakers in 7, man. I'm going with Bron. And I need AD to stay healthy, to battle through some injuries. But we need him to be consistent. We need LeBron to do what LeBron does. And then we need the role players to play like they did this last series. So I got Lakers in 7. But it's going to be a tough series.
Nuggets obviously going to have the home court advantage. I'm going to Nuggets in 7. But the Joker, he is an absolute dog. And I love watching that team play. But I think it is going to be an interesting series. Once again, it ain't been all Joker. Joker's been a dog. I voted for Joel Embiid to be MVP. It is a regular season award, but I think Joker he looks like he should have won 3-time MVP. I know it ain't sexy. It ain't a bunch of jumping and fading away and nice crossovers. It's just high quality, efficient basketball. Obviously from Jokic and Jamal Murray. Shout out to Jamal Murray, man. Obviously he showed off in the bubble, tore his ACL. A lot of people wrote him off. A lot of high quality guards in the NBA and even in that Western Conference. You look at Dame Lillard, Steph, Kyrie, Luka, SGA over OKC. It's just a lot of, so it's easy to kind of, I guess, follow Devin Booker and Chris Paul. It's easy to kind of sneak under that radar over there. But if he continues this, obviously conference finals, he's been dominant against the Lakers. And then we're all assuming still possible. It's still possible the Lakers can come back and make this a 7-game series and win it. So it's still possible AB can be right. So maybe we flash back to that in a couple of weeks. And wow, he looks like the prophet. Same thing on the Celtics side. Very unlikely. I believe 0-149 in NBA history as far as being down 3-0 and then coming back and winning the series. But anything can happen. You got to tip the ball up and play the game. But I don't think this was in the script, a Nuggets Heat final, which we're all looking at. And I hope the series extends just a little bit because it's a long time between game 4s and game 1s for the NBA finals. But regardless, I'm gonna be excited about how this one goes, man. It's gonna be real dope. This is the throwback to. Actually, no, I don't see it, but I got the picks throwback. We got that. We got this. Let me see what else we got. Oh, this was the start of the season, start of playoffs, and currently. So that was the current was the start of the conference finals, and these were the odds for my Heat. We were at plus 1,700 to start the season, plus 3,400 to win it all at the start of the playoffs, and plus 1,400 at the start of the conference finals to win it all. Plus 1,400. I mean, that's wild when you're in the final 4 teams in the NBA. As you can see here, the Celtics were plus 100, which is shit. You make even money, basically. Nuggets were plus 230. Lakers were plus 330 in my Heat. I mean, that's unbelievable, disrespectful. But, yeah, man, I'm interested to see how this game goes tonight. Let me know if you think the Nuggets pull off the sweep or the Lakers extend this series. These are the current odds right now in the Western Conference. The Nuggets are minus 2,500 to win it. The Lakers are plus 1,700 to win it, obviously. And the NBA Finals right now in the FanDuel Sportsbooks, the odds. Nuggets are the favorites right now. Woo! Still disrespect. Still disrespect. Nuggets are the favorites right now, minus 220. Miami Heat second, obviously, plus 260. And then Celtics plus 1,200. The Lakers are plus 3,200. Standing NBA, Carmelo Anthony, top 10 scorer all time, I believe number 9 on the scoring list, announced his retirement from the NBA. One of my favorite players to watch. Him, Wade, LeBron all got drafted, so this is kind of into that era. Obviously, LeBron is still going strong in year 20, but Carmelo Anthony announced his retirement after 19 seasons. Not only one of my favorite players to watch in the NBA, one of my favorite players to play with on NBA 2K. That quick jumper, when they had the Euro step on there, he was absolutely unstoppable. but a big physical scorer. I'm a Big East basketball fan as well. So that year he came in, went on that run and win that natty. One of the more impressive seasons that I've seen on the college football stage. So shout out to Carmelo. Once again, announced his retirement after 19 seasons. 30,203 points, 8,365 rebounds, 10-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA, scoring champ, NBA's 75th anniversary team, NCAA champion, 3-time Olympic gold medalist, an absolute legend. Moving on. South Florida continues to dominate. The conference finals in the NHL are off to an unbelievable start as well. Both teams, you got two teams that are 2-0 in hockey as well. Panthers 2-0, Vegas Golden Knights 2-0. We're on a crash course for the finals. My guys over in Indy at the Thunderdome, huge Stoner and Vegas fans. So I can't wait to see that series materialize. If it does, that'll be pretty interesting. Make some good banter. Obviously, Boston, I'm not even going to pick on my dog, Connor. It's been rough for him. Bruins went down to my Panthers. The Celtics are getting absolutely dog walked right now. But shout out to my Panthers. Chucky, Matt DeTuck, another OT playoff goal to walk off his third of these players, I believe, which ties an all-time record. Then the celebration, busing 10. Let's get off the ice, get to the buses. We got game 3 down here in Sunrise, Florida. Can't wait for that. Let's go, Cats. Time to hunt. All of that, man. But it's been buzzing. Stanley Cup odds right now. Vegas Golden Knights are the favorites at plus 125. Panthers plus 160. Hurricanes plus 700. And Dallas Stars are plus 750. But the way things are going right now for South Florida in sports, I like our chances. I like our chances a lot. I'm going to go through a few more of these things that we move from the NBA talk. Forgot about this. This is pretty big at this point in the season. It's pretty big. They did the NBA draft lottery last week, I believe. I think it was on Tuesday. So the Spurs, the Rockets, the Pistons, and all the other bum-ass teams in the association had a shot at one of the most heralded basketball prospects ever with Victor. I'm going to call him Wemby. With Wemby out of France. Now, the Spurs, they won. They got the number 1 overall pick. We know where they're going in this one. They're probably going to go with the 7'5" guy with a guard skill set, smooth, lanky. Now, I got some hesitation. And I've seen some people. I saw Woj go on Twitter and say it's never been this type of hype around any NBA prospect. Matter of fact, a prospect in sports, period. I disagree with that. It's a guy that's in his 20th season right now who was labeled as the chosen one, who was on the Sports Illustrated cover, who had multiple games nationally televised, couldn't even play at his own arena, had to go play at the Cavs arena and different, Akron University. He would have been a lottery pick, they said, as like a junior in high school. I remember LeBron. And then his physical build, he was 6'7", 6'8", 240, and was the biggest, fastest guy on the court. And when you look at LeBron when he was coming out, you saw that type of body type and that type of skill set, dominating the NBA already, right? And his expectations coming out, it was, if you're not as good or better than Michael Jordan, it was kind of a failure. If you're not like a first ballot Hall of Famer, it's a failure. Those were his expectations coming out, like realistically, not only because of his physical attributes, but how he played the game from a mental standpoint as well. Now, we've absolutely never seen a 7'5" guy with this type of skill set. But I have a little hesitation because of that. We've never seen that be successful in the NBA. We've seen a lot of super tall, super long guys, come into the NBA. But I haven't necessarily seen them have long, dominant NBA careers. Now, obviously, this guy could be the outlier and change that. I think about Yao Ming. I think about Porzingis, who was, labeled the unicorn. some other guys just haven't seen it. So hopefully, I'm hoping this guy has an unbelievable career in the NBA. And the Spurs look like they got him, man. So shout out to the Spurs and Pop. Hey, they need it. They absolutely need it. Let's get to some questions. Let's get to some questions. When is G.I. Joe 317? When is the Indy 500? I want to check. I want to check that. Got to talk Indy 500. Alex P got pole position 234 miles per hour. The F1 cars don't even go that fast. That is unbelievable. But I definitely want to know when that Indy 500 is. I want to check that out. Some other incredible open wheel racing. I've actually been to one Indy 500 race when I was out in Indy. I spent 6 years in Indy, so I did go to one race out there, kiss the brick and all that. But I want to get to some questions before I continue flying through all this sports news on this May 22nd, 2023. So I'll keep checking. Oh, this upcoming Sunday. Okay, this upcoming Sunday at noon. All right, here we go. I don't know if you guys tapped into the PGA Championship this past weekend. I did. I don't know if you've been following me on my IG or my Twitter. I've been playing a lot of golf. Probably played my best golf yesterday, actually. It's tough game, but AB, he's been taking lessons. He sent me a few videos from his lessons. Great game, though. Meet some great people. I've been enjoying it with my brothers and some friends. But Brooks Koepka, and also on Netflix, they got a documentary, Full Swing, and it kind of goes into how Brooks has been dealing with, really lack of confidence. Won the champion, but won 4 majors coming into this one, and had a lot of doubts if he would ever get back to that level, ever win another major. Obviously, he went over to live, but he won the PGA Championship. Unbelievable performance. Hovland was pushing him. Victor Hovland, 25-year-old, was pushing him to the end. Scotty Scheffler made a run there, but shout out to Brooks Koepka, winning his 5th major, which gives him one more than Rory. So it was a great tournament this weekend. And this was actually not the best story from this weekend. Speaking of Rory was paired up with Michael Block. Michael Block is a PGA certified instructor, right? And he qualified for the championship and made it all the way and finished in the top 15. And this was a moment for Michael Block where on hole 15, I believe, he went a hole in one.
This looks good.
You just fly that in the hole.
Unbelievable, Ace. He couldn't believe it. Rory told him to win in. I got to run that back. What?
This looks good.
You just fly that in the hole.
That's crazy. Hole in one. But Michael Block, unbelievable weekend. I mean, honestly, if you watch that shit in a movie, you wouldn't believe it. His weekend, finishing the top 15, I believe he walked away with like $300,000. Shout out to Michael Block, man. And golf right now, golf got me in a chokehold right now. I've dabbled in it years back. I go through my phone, I look through my album, I just type in golf, and you see all the different pictures, and I'm just looking at myself and the stances and the gear and everything. It was just so stank. So now I actually, get my swing together, get my swag together out there on the course. It's been an incredible run so far, man. But shout out to Michael Block. That's literally what dreams are made of, man. Let's see what else we got, man. Let's see if we got any good questions in here. Any good questions? Somebody said Victor looked too skinny. Big Syracuse show, Anthony. Breonna Stewart, Carmelo Anthony, and Jim Brown are all from Syracuse. You are absolutely correct. My best friend is actually from Syracuse as well, Tyvon Branch. And Breonna Stewart and he and Breonna Stewart, however you're supposed to say that, they got the same trainer. And so he was telling me about her before she even went to UConn. Hey, we got another one. But hey, this real deal. I believe they both went to CNS. Which is like North Syracuse school up there. Absolute dog, man. But a lot of sports talk, a lot of different sports. You see the variety, you see the range here. We talk about everything: golf, WNBA, NBA, hockey, Indy 500. Indy racing, at Formula One. Maybe get some maybe a little sneak of NASCAR at some point. I did get invited by a Super Cup, a driver that's in the Super Cup series. He said, hey, come out. I give you the VIP experience. Come out to check out NASCAR. I know you've been on this Formula One kick. Come check out NASCAR. It's depending on the city and the environment. I told him I'll let him know, but one of these 5 dates, I'm going to make it. Nashville, June 25th. They got a race out there. Chicago, July 2nd. Hampton, GA, July 9th. Indianapolis, August 13th. In Daytona, Florida, August 26th. I'm going to make one of those. Right? I'm going to give it a chance. I got to give the domestic races a chance. But shout out this water, man. Straight from the glaciers. But let's see. Let's see what we got. Van Albright, are you going to another day one? Shout out to Van. Are you going to any training camp this year? I don't know. I went to one last year, just the Colts, and the Lions were there as well. Lions were doing Hard Knocks. I may show face at one of these training camps. I enjoy the training camps. You get to see the teams. You obviously get to see, the coaches and everything that's going on. And it kind of makes you miss it a little bit more. It's one thing watching it from a distance, but when you're boots on the ground and you're out there and you seeing the coaches, yelling and blowing whistles and guys going through their different, whether it's one-on-ones or 7-on-7 or, inside run, whatever it is, it kind of makes you miss that flow and being in it and being in those practices, especially when you got the joint practices against another team. I love the joint practice. I actually like the joint practices more than the preseason games. You're obviously not tackling, but you're still going through full speed reps. And preseason games are glorified practices with full speed contact. So give me that week of practicing against another opponent, different calls, different formations, different shifts, different cadences from the quarterbacks. So I really enjoyed those joint training camp practices. Hey, Molly Mall, I'm straight from the I believe him. Over 5,000 years ago, long before the first humans reached the remote Iceland, a massive volcanic eruption created a unique underground spring, complete with its own natural filtration system, pristine lava rock, known as the Offa Spring. This is the origin of the Icelandic glacial, the natural spring water, which is the source of an epic life. They really went out there and filled this thing up out there. Bloop, 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 bloop. Yeah. I'm going to need to check Icelandic. I'm going to need it. Y'all already in the hole, baby. But yeah, it's solid. Hey, it tastes clean, SJ. It tastes clean. But let's see. Brad Richardson, you should do the Indy 500 race and compare experiences. So I've been to one. I tell you, I've been to one. I did it. I had a VIP experience, I would say, at the Indy 500. Which was the better experience? I would say the F1 was a better experience. Yeah, it was better. Yeah, it was a better experience. I had better access for sure. So, yeah. Mr. Scampers, have you ever been to Iceland? I have not been to Iceland. I don't know if that's on my places to visit, but who knows? A lot of places I've been that I never had plans to get there. Tom, you're gonna get a laugh in Boston Connor's face today. I'm not sure. We shall see. Pat and the guys signed with ESPN. What are your thoughts? So, interesting enough, I don't know if you watched the announcement or not, but I am a part of the guys. So, and obviously, you're already having a relationship, already being on ESPN. I love it. Obviously, this is necessarily news to me, but I love it. Now, obviously, a lot of people, the main concern and the more concern for a lot of fans and a lot of followers and listeners of the Pat McAfee show will be, whoa, you're going to ESPN. That's the Disney network. The reason we love the show and the platform is because it's, it's uncut, it's raw, it's unfiltered. So understandably so, a lot of people got concerns about it, but I think at this point in the game, you should, have some trust, some faith in Pat. Pat has been a trailblazer in the media industry. Obviously, Pat in the game, the people he's kept around him, the things that he's done, the deals that he's negotiated. Obviously, FanDuel being one of them, which kind of changed the landscape of the sports media / gambling industry when it came to that merge. And now this is kind of the next step, for him and for the company. And I'm excited about it. That is like 74 million homes. 74 million homes. And it should still be an inspirational story about how he's built his own company and still maintains 100% ownership of said company. And then he's got this licensing deal with ESPN. Now, will the content change? Yes, it will change a little. He mentioned in his announcement, won't be as many F-bombs. I'm sure some will definitely slip through the cracks. But if you watch the show, if you enjoy the show, if you enjoy the content, obviously, the language is a big part of it, and it will remain a big part of it. ESPN, I think media in general will continue to change and evolve as far as those things go. But once again, should be a little bit of faith, a little bit of confidence in the guy and the crew that he keeps around him. It'll be fun. And that's, once again, was the next step, being having that type of reach, being in that many homes, and once again, continuing to change the sports media industry. Hopefully we continue to see other former players and other people go down, non-atypical paths to build their own thing, man. But it's been a great run. I will for sure continue to enjoy it and continue to tune in. The first 2 hours of the show, 12 to 2, starting in the fall, will be on ESPN and also on ESPN's YouTube page. So we'll remain free, and it's gonna be dope, man. It is absolutely gonna be dope. Everything DB. And in the trenches, Coach P's keys, all those things will be making its way to ESPN as well, man. So once again, I'm unbelievably excited about it. I can't wait to see what the future holds. I did NFL matchup last year on ESPN with Sal Powell and Greg Cosell. It was a 1-year deal. So we will see where that goes with ESPN. And, we'll see how my sports media journey continues to evolve as well. But once again, man, shout out to Pat. Shout out to the whole crew over there. Everybody that's been doing their things that you see on camera, and also all the guys and people that are behind the scenes making it happen as well. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. Yeah, everything DB, man. So that's my baby. That's my baby. And actually started that with my younger brother Denzel. It was an idea we had in this very office on the other side of it with this table set up where and the YouTube page is still, I don't put a lot of stuff directly on the YouTube page or IG or Twitter page. At some point that will change. Matter of fact, somebody reach out to me, let me know if they want to run my Everything DB pages because of all the shit I got going on. But Everything DB, you can go back on Pat McAfee's YouTube page and look at every week from 1 to 18 we did, and we did the playoffs as well. But you saw the best and the worst plays from the defenses of that week, best and worst plays. So you saw some teams continue to show up on that, either good or bad. And then you obviously saw those teams perform just like you saw on Everything DB every week in the playoffs. It kind of went exactly how, we thought it would go, because with that Everything DB, you get a different type of breakdown. When you watch the TV, you watch the games, you're going to get, hey, man-to-man or cover two. That's pretty much the extent you're going to get with the explanation of what's going on defense. With Everything DB, I'm going to give you what in my best, most highly educated opinion, because I don't know fully. I'm not in those media rooms. I'm not on those sidelines making those adjustments. But based on my knowledge of playing 9 years in the NFL, cornerback, safety, and the nickel position, I can look and say, hey, this is cover 4. This is what they were trying to do. This is how the offense attacked it. This is where the defense broke down, or this is where the defense excelled and made the plays. So once again, I am excited about the future. My ultimate goal is to call NFL games from the broadcast booth and also be one of the main voices of F1 stateside. And obviously ESPN has the rights to F1 as well. So when you see me on Pat's show, I've been talking a lot of F1 lately. When you see me in these F1 events, you'll see me shaking hands and kissing babies. So just stay tuned, man. It's going to be a fun ride. I promise you that. What else we got, baby? Boo, 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 boo. Hey, I agree. Nick, have you thought about doing consulting work or scouting work? I have done consulting work with players. Started with the front office guy, but that didn't continue. But some players, some coaches. So yes, consulting will continue to be in my future. I believe it's it's needed. Number one, great way for me to stay super connected to the game, because the game is always evolving behind closed doors. As far as it's a copycat league as well, as far as different coverages, different techniques that are taught, different things. And then for players, I think if I could go back and do it all again, I would wish I would have access to a consultant. And when you're that young, it's hard to understand that investment, right? Or however much money you would have to spend for that consulting. But businesses, the biggest businesses in the world, spend millions and millions of dollars every year on consulting, for that individual expertise. But as a player, if you could be 21 years old, 22 years old, and have, obviously you have your coach, you have your position coach, you have your veterans in your meeting rooms. But if you can literally just have a one-on-one personal consultant that helps you through that journey, shows you how to watch film, help you with the installs so that you're out there playing ball and not really thinking, it's priceless. It's priceless. And I'm not even talking about just for me. Obviously, there's a bunch of different positions out there that those things would be super valuable for. So players, young players, if you can, if it's a good person out there, get you a consultant, get you someone on your team, man, and it's worth the investment. Trust me. If let's say you spend $100,000 a year on consulting, that could be the difference of you going into a contract year and being able to negotiate a $13 million deal or a $30 million deal. So trust me, it's definitely worth it. Let's talk WNBA. The F1 podcast needs to happen. The F1 podcast is coming. Short form, 10, 15, 20 minutes maybe. That's coming. That is coming. What else we got? Are the Celtics regretting firing Ime Udoka? I would think so. Joe Mazzulla. It's first year for Joe Mazzulla, though. He may have a great multi NBA championship career. We shall see. So first year, be interesting to see what the Celtics do with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown after this year. Jaylen Brown, since they both made all NBA teams, I believe the only backcourt or the only team with two teammates to make the all NBA team. Jason Tatum being first team, Jaylen Brown being second team. Jaylen Brown, after this season, will most likely be the highest paid player in the NBA. I believe so. Let me check something out just to make sure, because I like to follow this type of stuff. So when it comes to Jaylen Brown, and a lot of people are saying a lot of things about Jaylen Brown and obviously Tatum as well, but Jaylen Brown. This week, Tatum and Brown, they were named first team. This was a couple weeks ago, obviously. They're named first team and second team All-NBA, respectively, making them eligible to sign Supermax deals. Jaylen Brown can sign a 5-year extension this summer worth an estimated $295 million. 5 years, $295 million. Hey, that's the market. Go get your money, young fella. While Tatum next year can sign a 5-year deal worth $318 million in 2024. So will they keep that core together? Will they keep those two together? We shall see. But you'll have two Supermax players. Jaylen Brown could possibly sign a 5-year, $295 million with this deal with the Celtics, which I believe only that team. I think if he goes somewhere else, it won't be that high. And then the following year, Jason Tatum can sign a 5-year, $318 million deal. So, whoo, that's a lot of cheese. But once again, that's the market. Molly Mall said, give Jaylen his 5-year, $295. I feel you. But that'd be interesting, though. Would you keep this core together or do you break it up? Because this team, it's pretty much the same team from last year. And it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing this year so far. But, it's my Heat. Speaking of my Heat, before we get up out of here, and once again, I appreciate y'all. Love y'all for rocking with me. Rocking with the pod, the man-to-man pod. Obviously, me, NAB, since we got rocking back in summer of 2020. A lot of you guys and gals have been here, so I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that from the absolute bottom of my heart. But the Heat are absolutely embarrassing these Celtics. So with that being said, I'm going to leave y'all with the special rendition before I get up out of here. But once again, thank you for rocking with me. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the comments. See you guys next Monday. And this both these NBA series will probably be over at that point. But before we get out of here, and you can catch me today on the Up and Adam Show on FanDuel TV. Once again, shout out to FanDuel for this. That's hard. But we out here. See you next week. Close it out. Can you feel the heat down in your soul? I feel the heat down in my soul. Can you feel it? I can feel that. Can you hear it? I can hear. It's Miami Heat. We can't be beat. It's Miami Heat. I mean, only the OGs know about that. Y'all don't know about that. Yeah. Hey, so if you don't know that song, because like I said, only the OGs know that song. Go check it out. Go on YouTube and check out Can You Feel the Heat? Ooh, I feel like getting in the whip right now, man. I might drive with this later on today. I go pick the kids up from school. But yeah, go check that song out. Can You Feel the Heat? I'm talking about like the throwback one, like early 90s. And see if I sung that how it was supposed to be sung. But once again, I appreciate y'all.
Man to man, yeah, we talking. Man to man, they can't guard me. Man to man, they don't wanna see us. Man to man, they don't know how to beat us. Man to man, 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 yeah, man. Must be the struggle that's in me, that's why I want it so bad. Must be the hustler in me that keep my foot on the gas. When you got it from nothing and hard times ain't so bad, just know I'm coming for everything that they said I couldn't have. I put my life inside it, yeah, I kept it solid. Yeah, I played the field, that's how I feel about it. We put numbers on the board, we always up the score. Yeah, we stuck to the plan and never ran. Now they can't see it, man. Yeah, we talking, man to man, they can't guard me. Man to man, they don't wanna see us. Man to man, they don't know how to beat us. Man to man, 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 man to man.
Any way we can get it, baby. Any way we can get it. Woo! Got a little hot in that bit. Woo! Hey, the wrong hand last time. Got a little hot in that bit for real.